Hi, my name is Matthew, digital editor with the Fintech Times, and we're here at Rocket Space Theatre in Angel, Islington for our US Capital Global's ICO event. Let's check it out.
We're going to talk about primarily about regulated STOs or security tokens, a digitization of a regulated security. I'm very interested in someone who has a sector expertise and is using technology to dominate the sector, rather than a technologist looking for a sector to serve. Okay? Because so my opinion is there's more opportunity for growth and for capital appreciation, right? If you're really operating as an expert in the sector and then you bring in really strong technology to dominate the sector when your competition is.
For the last 6 months, we've gone back to our initial vision of trading digital securities on the blockchain. So since then, we've released 2 different offerings, one with real estate. So this is a company based out of the Cayman Islands, and they're looking to invest in property in New York. And that's quite an interesting topic because that's a typically quite illiquid asset class. You know, property can't be traded very quickly. So if you're tokenizing that asset class, you're making that much more liquid.
Sure, so my name's Graham. Last 20 years or so working in hedge funds, asset managers, really looking to improve processes for institutions. And last year we at the hedge fund who previously tried to launch a crypto fund focused on institutions. And what we found was that really the space is focused very much on retail, and if you wanted to run an institutional product, you'd struggle to find the infrastructure and counterparties to deal with. So earlier this year we left with a view to helping develop that space and building an exchange focused on institutions, and also with an eye to ICO security tokens. So we believe very much, like yourself, Jeff, on the regulation in the space. So we're looking to launch an exchange in London that's regulated as an
blockchain. By Renaissance, you look at what the advantages of blockchain and why people get so excited about blockchain, and it's for largely those reasons. It's one of the only technologies which is being kind of put out there as the kind of the borderless technology, the one that doesn't really conform to geographical confounds. I mean, your point, yeah, completely valid in terms of the platform and where the jurisdictions of that platform will be responsible for taking that data and putting it on chain. Where we then step into kind of the more exciting realms are, well, let's go to a scenario when we have an asset that's being issued from the cloud.
My name is Peter Miles and I'm from Unizest. And what are you taking away from this evening so far?
Well, it's been very interesting so far. A lot of the subjects have been about the regulation of both cryptos and STOs and how they might operate within a global market. And there's been some really interesting use cases about how tokens are being used in what would be traditional businesses.
Do you think that tokenization can help blockchain technology fulfill its real potential?
I think blockchain technology is a separate issue from tokens. I think, but obviously the one and the other are often conflated. But I think blockchain technology is fascinating for a lot of businesses. But I think tokens and cryptos is one of those. And I think without blockchain, you wouldn't have tokens or cryptos. So.
Yes, my name is Nina Pfeiffer, and we're both representing 51 North Partners.
Yep, so same place, different name.
Same place. My name is Michelle Farkas, and 51 North is a consultancy, and we focus on helping clients get funded. We give them strategic advice.
So have you learned anything from our event so far?
Well, actually quite a bit. I mean, we've been around the blockchain space for a while, looking at it both from financial institutions, and also we've advised a number of early stage ventures that are playing in this space, not necessarily on the blockchain, but similar technologies. And it is always interesting to hear what different people and different firms are doing with the technology. I have to say, the application of technology for real estate is particularly compelling, particularly for countries that have a national register for land like we do here.
Anything to add?
Yeah, I can only echo what Michelle already said, and I think that we saw some opportunities here that we would be really interested to see how that might play for our clients, and see if there's any kind of an angle to it. And from the other perspective also to try to hear, because we think there's a lot of block exchanges happening all this. So when is the standardization going to happen? And obviously the regulations.
But it's the connection between, here's like a cutting edge, excuse the pun, it's a nanoparticle. But it's like the cutting edge technology of being able to physically tag something, have it give you information about it, and then you could connect it into a blockchain technology for transactions or for supply chain finance to verify supply or the quality of the supply. So it's that kind of link between the physical and the digital world, which I thought was compelling.
Preventing counterfeiting, which is over $3 trillion a year estimated now. You can't burn it, you can't remove it. If it's embedded in the product as opposed to on a label, any place like that, it's part of the product. If it's diluted, if it's changed in any way, if that's what you want to read, and all of that information needs to be encrypted, it all has to be kept secure, because you're sharing that to access around the world.
So I was laughing with Teresa because I thought, well look, you take your nanoparticle and you program it with that property token, right? And then you spray it on the mailbox of the property, and then you can walk by the property with your phone and look and check the mailbox to tell you all about the property. It's like that kind of thing.
And continually updated.
Yeah. But I thought it was interesting because, especially in a venue like this where there's a lot of like blockchain ideas and technology, that to see, to find a connection to the physical world that's really top drawer, it seems interesting.
Identifying the individual and creating a secure, unique identity allowed us to provide services for them. Services that they were entitled to. Services that today they don't have access to because the government or the infrastructure doesn't allow that or doesn't facilitate the integration. In stepping into that realm, one of those services was banking. And so when you looked at pension services, when you looked at transactional revenue for buying things at a pharmacy or buying any type of service that is government related, whether it's payroll, whether it's pension, whether it's anything. That's where our vertical into fintech took off. And because of the need for identity management, we were very quickly able to move into several countries throughout several regions and be able to assimilate populations and be able to create identities for each.
And then help stop that leakage, that fraud leakage to the user.
Correct.
Right?
One of the reasons that I decided to work with Jeff and his team, because ICOs were really hot when we were in concept phase and we could have just launched with an ICO, an idea. We decided to go the more traditional route. And one of the things that I really like in the secondary markets is that I can create liquidity for those founders and those advisors who came and trusted me and put their faith with me as they built this company with me and risked their whole reputation. And I can create liquidity for them after 12 months. So for me, this is like an ethical and moral and a leadership decision.
ICOs were initially intended as some initial point offerings, which were then transferred to run any kind of investment that they wanted to stay away from an IPO, thinking that it wouldn't be regulated. So in the United States, the SEC came down and said anything that is not a commodity or utility is a security. And they clearly defined what a commodity is. One item only. Can't be divided, can't be multiplied. One item only. If it moves in any way, if it has any chance of changing in any way, it is not a commodity. A utility is a finite, or excuse me, a very strict offering that can neither add value, lose value, cross value. It can't be anything except exactly what it is. You're talking about these gift cards. If that can be changed in any way, it's not a utility, it's a security.
Sorry. Actually, the CFTC regulated this.
The SEC has deemed that anything that can change value in any way is a security.
So
So I want to thank everyone in the audience. Thank you for coming out tonight. It's been a very lively discussion. I want to thank all of our panelists. Thank you, Jeff, and thank you,
I think tokenization, the technology allows us to better track all of the relationships that are happening with any given asset. And then the more insight that we have, the less hair there is on a deal, whether it be looking for capital, whether we're trying to provide a better consumer experience. So I think that the digital distributed ledger really lends itself to so many different improvements across many different industries. I'm sticking with my vertical that I know the best to launch, which is real estate, but then we think that the technology can be applied in many other spaces.
I'm an American, so a new wild, wild west. You know, it's a new frontier like the internet was, to where now people can use creativity and use innovation to go, but I can do this. And that's kind of been lacking in the technical sector for a long time. Things started to become very, very entrenched and very moving on rails. I think inevitably regulation is coming. I don't think there's any way to get away from that, and I think that that will actually spawn more innovation. Innovative ways, even in our coin, and looking at it and saying from a local level, from a country level to a global level, how do we do it, and how do we do it transparent? Actually, to one of the points that one of the gentlemen is saying now is have open conversations with regulators. Be able to show from the very beginning, no, we're coming in with compliance to innovate your system, not to replace or disrupt. And yes, you're disrupting workflows, but as long as you don't disrupt the legalities and the needs, I don't think it's really slowing anything down. I think it's slowing this probably sounds pretty bad. Those who wish to be slowed down will be slowed down by debate.
STO is a very broad term, a security token offering that could cover everything from an equity token, a debt token, a collective investment scheme token. I think it will definitely push into a new era, so we may see kind of tokenization 2.0 or 3.0, whatever iteration we're on. I think that in itself will push into a new space where we have regulated actors operating. Very excited to see that. I don't think it necessarily will impact the kind of the old or the unregulated space. I think that will still carry on, but hopefully any nefarious actors will kind of get cut away by the requirement for regulation. In the UK, one of the big things is about having fit and proper people and fit and proper firms, and I think that can do only good things to the marketplace.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook and LinkedIn, and check out our online content at thefintechtimes.com.